Kill your weak feelings, the ones that whisper to you in the dark when no one else is watching. The ones that tell you it's okay to stay in bed when the world expects more. The ones that justify your mediocrity, that feed you excuses like a starving man being thrown scraps. Kill them. Because they are not your friends. They are the silent poison dripping into your ambition, softening your edge, dulling your hunger. Those weak feelings, doubt, fear, laziness, self-pity, they were never meant to be nurtured. You don't coddle them. You don't negotiate with them. You destroy them. Every time you say, I'm tired, they grow. Every time you say, a maybe later, they tighten their grip. They love when you hesitate. They celebrate when you choose comfort over courage. And they laugh when you pretend you're still trying. You've been giving them room in your head, letting them decorate the halls of your mind, and they've repainted everything with grayscale. But there's still time to take it back. You have a responsibility to be stronger than your feelings, because feelings lie. They shift with the weather, they crumble under pressure, they vanish when the spotlight hits. But strength, real strength, is built in silence. In the early mornings when no one is watching. In the late nights when your body screams but your soul says, oh, one more rep. Strength is built in rejection and failure and humiliation. Every scar is a lesson. Every fall is a blueprint. Every no is fuel. Weakness loves comfort. It thrives on routine. It hates pressure. It avoids the unknown. That's why you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to chase the things that scare you. Walk toward the pain, because growth lives where comfort dies. The more you run from the fire, the more power you give to fear. But if you walk into the flames, if you train yourself to move forward despite shaking hands, despite the lump in your throat, you begin to harden. You begin to evolve. You can't build a warrior in soft conditions. Warriors are born in the trenches. They are forged in storms, not spas. And that's who you must become. Someone who doesn't need perfect circumstances. Someone who doesn't wait for motivation. Motivation is cute. It fades. It disappears when things get hard. Discipline, cold, relentless, unapologetic discipline is the sword you carry when everything else fails. That's what makes you dangerous. That's what makes you untouchable. You've been lied to about strength. They told you it's about lifting weights or speaking loudly. No, strength is how you respond when everything falls apart. When your plans collapse, when you're alone, when you're broke, tired, brokenhearted, and still find a way to keep going. Strength is making choices that hurt now but make you better later. It's about cutting ties with anything that weakens you. Bad habits, toxic people, lazy thoughts. You don't owe weakness a home. You owe yourself a future. Some days you'll wake up and feel nothing. No fire, no drive, no passion. That's okay. Do it anyway. The champions of this world aren't the ones who feel great every morning. They're the ones who act regardless of how they feel. They show up. They show up. Again and again, because they understand one truth. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards performance, results, output, action. So act, move, build momentum even when your heart's not in it, especially then, because that's when it counts. There's a voice inside you that knows what you need to do. You heard it. It speaks when you're still. When you're honest, it doesn't shout, but it never lies. You drown it out with distraction, with noise, with excuses, but it's still there. And it's telling you the same thing over and over again. You're not meant to live a small life. You're not meant to fold under pressure. You're not meant to break when things get hard. You're meant to fight, to push, to rise. You don't get to the top by accident. You don't stumble into greatness. You earn it in the grind, in the repetition, in the boring, painful, unseen hours. While others are asleep, you're working. While others are doubting, you're building. While others are quitting, you're just getting started. That's the difference. That's what separates the winners from the ones who wish. Winners make sacrifices. They kill distractions. They eliminate weakness with precision. And they never make excuses. Excuses are the language of the weak. They sound smart. They sound justified. But they're lies. Every time you say, I can't, you're really saying, I won't. Every time you say it's hard, what you mean is, I don't want it bad enough. Be honest with yourself, brutally honest. Because that's the only way to grow. Growth doesn't come from truth. And the truth is, most of what's holding you back is in your own head. You keep waiting for the right moment, for the right mindset, for the perfect plan. But those things don't exist. You don't wait for confidence. You build it through action. You don't wait for clarity. You earn it by moving forward. You don't wait for fear to disappear. You face it until it loses its power. The only way out is through, and the only way up is by killing the thoughts that keep pulling you down. Weakness shows up in whispers. Rest a little longer. You've done enough. No one will notice. But strength replies with action. You get up anyway. You do one more set. You make the call. You show up. You earn your respect one decision at a time. Because in the end, it's not about how you feel. It's about what you do with those feelings. Whether they control you or fuel you. Whether they break you or build you, you can't afford to be soft. Not in this world, not in this life, not with your goals. The clock is ticking. The opportunity won't wait. The world owes you nothing. So take it. Take your power back. Take control of your time, your thoughts, your habits. Wake up with purpose. Move with intensity. Speak with conviction. Live like you mean it. Because if you don't, weakness wins. And if weakness wins, everything you say you want stays a fantasy. It's not enough to want it. Everyone wants it. Everyone dreams. But only the disciplined, the relentless, the focused actually achieve it. That requires war against your lower self. War against procrastination, against comfort, against doubt. You fight those battles daily, hourly, with every choice. And the more battles you win, the more confidence you build. Not fake confidence, the real kind. The kind that comes from scars, from sacrifice, from showing up even when it sucked. There are no shortcuts, no magic formulas, no secrets, just work, just repetition, just showing up. It's not glamorous, it's not always fun, but it works. And when you keep showing up, something changes. You start to become the kind of person who doesn't need to be told what to do, who doesn't need praise, who doesn't need reminders. You become self-made, self-driven, self-respecting, because you've proven to yourself what you're capable of. And once you've seen your own strength, you can't unsee it. You can't go back to the excuses. You can't lie to yourself anymore. You've seen what happens when you commit. When you sacrifice, when you go all in. So don't stop. Don't retreat. Don't lower your standards just because the world does. Raise them, demand more from yourself, expect more, do more, be more, because you are more. But only if you kill what's keeping you small. Kill the hesitation. Kill the comfort. Kill the voice that says they're not enough. Kill the temptation to quit. Kill the weakness before it kills your potential. And understand this, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to push you harder than you push yourself. It's you against you. You versus the voice that wants you to settle. And the only way to win is to silence it, not with words, but with action. Discipline is the antidote to weakness. It's the cure. It's the seal. And it's built day by day, task by task, moment by moment. You don't find it. You create it through pain, through resistance. And over time, it becomes who you are. Not something you do. Not a temporary burst, but a permanent state. That's when you're dangerous. That's when you're unstoppable. Kill your weak feelings. Starve them. Replace them. Drown them out with execution. Let your actions be louder than your doubts. Let your grind outshine your fear. Let your discipline silence your feelings. And when it gets hard, remember, it's supposed to be hard. That's the test. That's the filter. Most won't make it through. But if you keep going, if you refuse to fold, you will. You'll break through. You'll rise. You'll become the kind of person others look at and say, how? And you'll smile because you know the answer. You killed what was killing you. And you chose to rise. You chose not to entertain weakness. You chose to suffocate it with effort. You chose to reject the lie that feelings dictate action. You knew better. You saw through the illusion. You knew that power comes not from permission, but from decision. You didn't wait for a mood to tell you to move. You moved and created the mood. You didn't need hype. You didn't need cheerleaders. You needed a mirror and the will to face it. Because that's where the real battle happens. Not in the gym, not in the boardroom, not on a stage, in your mind. In the quiet spaces between choices. In the moment you decide whether to stand up or lay down. Whether to execute or escape. Weakness is seductive. It tells you it's okay to slow down, that you've earned a break, that tomorrow is just as good as today. It'll remind you of your past efforts, trying to cash in on yesterday's discipline. But strength doesn't live in the past. Strength only shows up in the now. It demands presence. It doesn't care about how great you were last week or what you plan to do tomorrow. It wants to know, what are you doing right now? Right this second, are you choosing to dominate this moment or surrender to it? You don't outgrow weakness, you outwork it. Every day, you get up and do the work, not because it feels good, but because it's necessary. Because something inside you is tired of being average, tired of making promises you don't keep, tired of potential with no proof. You know what needs to be done. You've always known. The problem wasn't knowledge, it was commitment, but not anymore. From now on, you show up, you act, you attack. You move forward without waiting for motivation, without waiting for perfect conditions. You build your own fire. You create your own storm. Let others play it safe. Let them stay soft. Let them complain about the grind. That's not your lane. Your lane is lined with blood, sweat, and sacrifice. Your lane is forged in discomfort, and that's why you win. Because you embrace what others avoid. You lean into the suffering. You recognize that growth comes wrapped in pain, that every breakthrough requires breakdown, that every level has a cost, and you're willing to pay it in full. There's no room for fragile thinking here, no space for hesitation. You either execute or you don't. You either rise or you rot. You're either building or decaying. There's no neutral ground. Life is happening right now, and you're either taking ground or losing it. So take it. Take it with urgency, with aggression, with clarity. Focus like your future depends on it, because it does. Focus like you're running out of time, because you are. You can feel your old self clinging, whispering, trying to drag you back to that place where mediocrity felt like home. But you're not going back. You're not entertaining weakness for one more second. You've got things to do, standards to raise, limits to shatter. That old version of you, the one that waited, the one that hesitated, the one that cracked under pressure, that version is done. Bury it. Mourn it if you have to, then move. Keep moving. The only way is forward, and forward doesn't wait for your feelings to catch up. The difference between the successful and the forgotten isn't talent. It's not luck. It's the ability to keep moving despite resistance, despite doubt, despite how heavy the weight feels. Anyone can work hard when it's easy, but greatness lives in the ones who show up when it's hard, when it's lonely, when there's no applause, no validation, no recognition. That's when it counts. When the only thing pushing you is your purpose. So turn up the pressure. Get comfortable with being comfortable. Stop apologizing for your ambition. Stop watering down your intensity. This is your life. This is your shot. There's no dress rehearsal, no second chance. This is it. So act like it. Live like it. Wake up like someone's trying to take it from you, because something is. Weakness is always lurking, always testing, always watching, and the second you let your guard down, it rushes in. Kill it before it spreads. Kill it before it multiplies. Kill it before it becomes who you are. Weakness doesn't show up overnight. It's built one skipped workout at a time. One missed opportunity. One broken promise. You don't just become soft. You allow it. You tolerate it. You tolerate it. And then you become it. But not anymore. From now on, the standard is non-negotiable. You do what needs to be done. You push even when no one's watching. You fight when no one's cheering. You rise even when it hurts. You weren't built to break. You were built to build. Built to win. Built to suffer for something greater. That's why you're still here. Because deep down, even when the world gave you a way out, you knew better. You knew there was something inside you that couldn't be silenced, couldn't be tamed. And now is the time to let it loose. Now is the time to become who you were born to be. Not someone who bends to pressure, but someone who applies it. Someone who walks into a room and shifts the energy because of the work they put in behind the scenes. You don't earn confidence by reading quotes. You earn it by doing the things you said you would do. You build it with sweat, with consistency, with ruthless commitment to your purpose. And when you start stacking those wins, those quiet, private wins, you begin to realize that your feelings were never the problem. Your response to them was. And now you're rewriting that response. Now you're answering fear with action, doubt with work, pain with power. That voice in your head, the one that says, you can't, you're tired, you should stop. That voice doesn't belong to you. It's an intruder, a liar, and you owe it nothing. You don't argue with it. You don't reason with it. You silence it with effort, with execution, with discipline. Every action you take is a bullet in the war against weakness. So fire relentlessly. Don't pause. Don't flinch. Don't flinch. There's a beast in you that's been sleeping. It's time to wake it up. Time to unleash it. Time to burn the bridges back to the soft life. The life of excuses, comfort, and compromise. That life is over. You're building something greater now. A legacy, a standard, a name that means something. And that kind of power isn't given. It's earned. Earned through repetition, earned through rejection, earned through the brutal discipline of doing the hard thing over and over again. So keep going, keep swinging, keep climbing, kill your weak feelings. Starve them of attention, give them no shelter. No shelter. Replace them with action, with hunger, with cold-blooded execution. Build a fire so hot that even your fears melt. Move so aggressively that your doubt can't keep up. Make your life a weapon against anything that tries to keep you small, and never, ever stop. Weakness doesn't announce itself with thunder. It creeps in quietly. It disguises itself as rest, as kindness to yourself, as just taking a moment. But you know better now. You've seen the cost of giving it an inch. One moment turns into a day turns into a habit. And before you know it, the fire is gone. Not because it was stolen, but because you let it go out. You traded it for comfort. You traded it for the false safety of taking it easy. But that's not your path. Your path is pressure. Your path is fire. And fire doesn't survive in stillness. It survives in emotion, in discipline, and daily war against anything that weakens your mission. Every time you choose effort over ease, you sharpen your mind. Every time you get up when your mind says no, you take a step toward dominance. Dominance not over others, but over yourself. Because that's the hardest fight there is, the inner war. The one that takes place when the alarm goes off at 5 a.m. The one that shows up when you're sore, when you're tired, when no one would blame you for quitting. But you don't quit. You keep going. Because you've made a vow not to be average, not to be another name on the list. But to rise so high that weakness can't breathe in your atmosphere. People around you may not understand. That's fine. It's not their journey. It's not their fire. You don't need them to see it. You don't need applause. What you need is clarity. What you need is obsession. What you need is tunnel vision so sharp that all distraction gets sliced on sight. Weakness hates that kind of focus. It tries to pull you off track. And once your eye's on your phone, not your goal. On gossip, not greatness, but you've already decided that kind of life is dead to you. You've buried it under reps, under runs, under silent, relentless grind. Weakness thrives in the presence of indecision. That's why you must move fast. Decide quickly. Execute with precision. There's no room for maybe anymore. Either you are or you're not. Either you will or you won't. Either you rise or you stay stuck, and stuck is where the weak rot. That's where they live, in the land of almost. Someday I try. But you don't belong there. You've got scars to prove it. Scars that came from showing up, from saying yes when it was hard, from doing the work without reward. That's where the real ones are made. In the dark, in the quiet, in the quiet, in the lonely. Don't just aim to be strong, be unbreakable. Be the one that count out, then count on. Be the one who keeps pushing when others fold. Be the one who doesn't flinch, who doesn't back off, who doesn't ask for easy. Easy is for people who never wanted it bad enough. You want it so bad it hurts. And that pain, that burning deep in your gut, that's fuel. That's the signal. Not to stop, but to go harder, to lean in, to lift more. To run further, to think sharper, to move faster. Weakness will always try to return. That voice that tells you to slow down, to stop pushing, to let go. It doesn't disappear. It waits. Waits for you to get tired. Waits for a weak moment. That's why your guard must never drop. That's why your guard must never drop. That's why you stay alert. You wake up with fire. You move with urgency. You close your day with purpose. And you do it again tomorrow. Because you've chosen this life. The hard life. The life of winners. And winners don't take days off from being relentless. You weren't put here to be passive. You weren't built to blend in. You were made to break barriers, to destroy limits, to lead. But leadership starts with self. With mastery of thought, mastery of movement, mastery of your environment. If something weakens you, eliminate it. If someone distracts you, outgrow them. If your surroundings make you soft, change them. There is no excuse that stands up to your mission. Not one. You either evolve or dissolve. There's no third option. When you feel the temptation to quit, that's the signal to double down. When it hurts, when your body screams, when your mind begs you to stop, go further. Not because it feels good, but because you said you would. Because your word means something now. You don't break it for weakness. You protect it with blood if you have to. That's how you earn respect from yourself. And once you respect yourself, the world starts to take notice. But you don't do it for them. You don't do it for them. You do it because you refuse to live beneath your own potential. The pain you feel now is the price. And it's a small price to pay for greatness. Everyone wants the crown, but few are willing to carry the weight. Few are willing to bleed for it, to sacrifice for it, to give up the soft life for the hard truth. But the crown belongs to the one who never stopped, who ignored the doubt, who killed the comfort, who burned the fallback plan. That crown is yours if you're willing to keep swinging. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be legendary. And legends are born in chaos, in moments where others flee, but you step forward. In moments where others say, I can't, but you say, oh, watch me. That's the attitude. That's the fire. And if you feed it daily, obsessively, without mercy, you become unstoppable. Not because you never fall, but because you never stay down. Because every time you hit the floor, you rise harder. You need to be dangerous. Dangerous to doubt. Dangerous to fear. Dangerous to every excuse trying to crawl its way into your mind. When weakness sees you coming, it should panic because it knows you've declared war. And this isn't a game. This is your life, your time, your story, your time, your story. And the weak don't write history. They're written about. Be the one who rewrites the script, who erases failure with force, who replaces hesitation with hunger. So what if it's hard? It's supposed to be. That's supposed to be. That's the point. If it were easy, it wouldn't be worth it. The climb is what shapes you. The struggle is what molds you. Embrace it. Own it. Dominate it. Because every day you do, you're not just killing weak feelings, you're building an empire inside yourself. An empire of grit, of fire, of discipline. And once that's built, nothing can tear it down. Not fear, not fatigue. You'll have become something untouchable. Unshakable. Keep killing those weak feelings, one by one, thought by thought, choice by choice. Let every action you take be a rejection of mediocrity. Let every moment be a testament to your strength. Let every breath say, I refuse to fold. Because this is what it means to take your life back. This is what it means to rise. There is no permission slip for greatness, no invitation, no signpost that tells you it's your turn. You take it. You claim it through force, through will, through repetition of uncomfortable actions. The world doesn't hand power to the hesitant. It gives it to the bold. And boldness doesn't come from emotion. It comes from decisions repeated under pressure. When you're under fire and still move forward. When you're exhausted and still show up. When the world gives you a way out and you throw it back in its face because you've already committed to the pain. Committed to the path. Committed to killing off everything in you that makes excuses, delays growth, or pleads for rest before the war is won. There's a part of you that knows exactly who you're supposed to be. It's loud when the room is quiet. It speaks when you're alone. It reminds you that you're not supposed to live soft, that you weren't born to play defense. But every time you feed your weak feelings, you silence that voice. You push greatness into the shadows and let fear do the talking. That ends now. From this moment on, you stop negotiating with emotions that don't serve the mission. You don't wait to feel ready. You decide, you move, you adapt, you execute. You've already wasted too much time playing nice with feelings that have no loyalty to you. Comfort never protected you. Doubt never paid your bills. Fear never made you stronger. Every time you gave in to them, you gave up something priceless, your edge. But not anymore. You're sharpening it now. With every cold morning you conquer, every late night you push through, every workout you finish when your legs scream for mercy, you're taking back your fire. Not just taking it back, you're turning it into a weapon. You don't need permission to go all in. You just need a reason. And you already have it. You wake up with it. You go to bed with it. You go to bed with it. That pressure in your chest, that's not anxiety. That's the weight of potential pressing on your lungs, waiting for release. Waiting for you to get serious, to stop talking, to stop planning, to stop hoping, and just start crushing, crushing tasks, crushing weakness, crushing every part of you that tries to whisper. And take it easy. No more easy. Look at where you came from. Look at everything you survived. You're not here by accident. You weren't carried, you crawled. You fought, you bled for progress. That blood wasn't spilled for nothing, so don't dare waste it by slowing down now. Double down. Go again. Harder this time. Angrier, hungrier. Every rep is revenge. Every mile is proof. Every early morning is a promise kept. You're not proving anyone else wrong. You're proving yourself right. Proving that all along, there was a beast under the surface just waiting to be unleashed. Let others live at the mercy of their feelings. Let them bow to fear, to fatigue, to whatever excuse they crown king for the day. But not you. You don't bow when you rise. You refuse to let emotions dictate your destiny. You make pain your ally. You make failure your fuel. You make every obstacle a chance to remind yourself that nothing owns you. Not fear, not weakness, not fatigue. You've already made it through too much to be taken down by something as soft as a feeling. When you wake up tired, you move anyway. When the fear creeps in, you take action. When the voices of doubt scream louder, you silence them with discipline. Because emotion doesn't decide effort. Habit does. You train your mind the way a warrior trains for war. You condition it to march forward even in chaos, especially in chaos. Because that's when champions are made in storms, not silence. In pressure, not peace. You are not normal. You are not average. You are not made to fit. You're made to lead. You're made to lead, to dominate, to become something unrecognizable to the version of you that used to say it may be tomorrow. That version of you doesn't get to live here anymore. It's been exiled, burned, replaced. You built something tougher, something colder, something unstoppable. You don't need the world's approval. You need your own. You need to wake up every day and know that the person looking back at you in the mirror doesn't flinch anymore, doesn't lie anymore, doesn't fold anymore. You don't feel like it. Good. That's your chance. That's your opportunity. Because doing it when it's easy means nothing. Doing it when it's hard means everything. Weak feelings will scream. Let them. They're loud because they're dying. You're starving them of what they need. Attention, softness. Keep starving them. Feed the fire instead. Fuel the focus. Stack the wins. Stack them so high that even your doubts can't reach the top. This life isn't for the kind-hearted dreamers who hope things get better. It's for the warriors who make it better, who grind in silence, who suffer with a smile, who walk through hell with their head held high and their eyes on the goal. This is your arena. This is your proving ground. Every day, every hour, every second, you're being tested. And every time you kill a weak thought, you pass the test. Every time you take action when it hurts, you rise. Every time you say, I will, instead of why might, you win. You were built for more than sleepwalking through your potential. Built for more than reacting to life. You were built to impose will, to bend reality to match vision. That requires an edge. It requires aggression. It requires the version of you that's had enough of being soft, enough of being silent, enough of being less than what you know you could be. Bring that version out. Let it take over. Let it rewrite the script. The world doesn't need another echo. It needs a roar. It needs someone who refuses to shrink. Someone who steps into the day with intention, with urgency, with fire behind the eyes. Someone who kills weak feelings before they even have a chance to speak. Let that be you. Over and over and over again. Let that be your legacy. Not what you felt, but what you did. Not what you hoped for, but what you earned. Not the weakness you fed, but the strength you built through merciless discipline and ruthless self-control. You don't get to complain about a life you settled for. You don't get to cry over results you didn't fight for. That's the cost of weakness. That's the price of living by your feelings. Because feelings don't care about your future. They care about your comfort. And comfort is the enemy of growth. It's a liar that promises peace but delivers regret. Every time you surrender to it, you trade long-term pride for short-term relief. And that relief comes with a chain that keeps you average, that drags you down every time you try to rise. Break it, tear it off, rip it out of your mind with every disciplined action you take. That's how you win. You want change? Then you need war. A war against every excuse, every hesitation, every soft part of you that wants to avoid discomfort. You want progress? Then you need suffering. Not because it's poetic, because it's necessary. The only path to strength runs through pain. That's the blueprint. That's the universal code. And no one escapes it. You either walk through it or you stay stuck on the outside of your potential forever, watching others pass you by, watching others become what you could have been, not because they were better, but because they were willing to bleed. You kill weak feelings by starving them. You don't argue with them. You don't justify them. You don't coddle them. You destroy them. You drown them in action. You suffocate them with repetition, with structure, with brutal, non-negotiable consistency. You say, this is what we do now, and then you do it again and again and again. Until your mind stops fighting and starts following. Until you build a new identity one that doesn't flinch, one that doesn't beg, one that doesn't even feel motivated to move. Just move. Because it's who you are now. Discipline is the antidote. Discipline is what builds power in silence. While others are waiting for motivation, you're building armor. While others are chasing balance, you're chasing blood. Because balance is a lie sold to the weak to make them feel better about staying small. You don't need balance. You need obsession. You need a reason so deep it burns through every excuse. So violent it silences every distraction. That's the level of drive required to kill weak feelings. Not once, but daily. You want to feel good? Earn it. Earn it through sacrifice. Through rejection of the easy way. Through full commitment to the hard path. The path with no shortcuts. No validation, no guaranteed outcome. Just you versus you. Every day, every minute, that's the battlefield. Not the gym, not the business, not the competition. The battlefield is internal. And if you can conquer that space, if you can silence that voice that tells you to quit, you can't be stopped. You become a force, a storm, a living weapon forged in self-discipline and sharpened by suffering. The people around you might not understand. Let them wonder. Let them whisper. Let them say you're too intense, too focused, too obsessed. That's fine. You don't need their validation. Their comfort zone is not your home. Their weakness is not your reflection. Let them laugh while you grind. Let them rest while you rise. Because one day they'll see the difference. They'll see the results. They'll see the distance between the one who fed weakness and the one who killed it. And that distance, that's where greatness lives. Every time you choose to show up when it's hard, you build a new layer of strength. Every time you push through pain instead of backing off, you kill another weak thought. You think you've done enough, go again. You think you've reached your limit, break it. There is no ceiling. There is only what you settle for. Raise the standard, raise it so high that even your old self wouldn't recognize you. That's how you leave the past behind. Not by talking about change, by becoming unrecognizable to who you used to be. That version of you, the one that hit snooze, the one that skipped steps, the one that talked big and delivered small. It's done. Dead. Gone. You buried it with sweat, with sacrifice, with silent mornings and late nights. But you traded it for something stronger, something darker. Something that doesn't fear the grind. It craves it. That's who you are now. The one who runs toward the hard things. The one who eats pain for fuel. The one who doesn't wait for motivation. Because you've got mission. You don't need to be rescued. You don't need to be told you're good enough. You don't need approval. What you need is to go so deep into your discipline that weakness can't even find you anymore. What you need is to stack so many wins that even your fears get tired of chasing you. This isn't about being better than someone else. It's about being better than the old you. Every single day, in every single moment, you kill weak feelings by never letting the old you breathe again. Pain is your compass. Discomfort is your signal. The more resistance you feel, the more right the direction. If it's hard, it's worth doing. If it scares you, it's worth facing. That's where your growth lives. Behind the locked doors your weak feelings don't want you to open. But you've got the key. You've always had it. Action. Brittle, deliberate, focused action. That's how you unlock the next level. That's how you turn fear into fire. You think lions care about being tired? You think warriors worry about how they feel before a battle? No, they know what's at stake. They don't move for comfort. They move for legacy, for honor, for the unrelenting pursuit of what they were born to become. And so do you. You're not here to coast. You're here to conquer. And that means pain. That means sacrifice. That means giving up everything soft inside you so you can build something savage. There's no version of greatness that comes easy. No shortcut.